The Edge at 11 starts now.
Tonight on The Edge, we have a lot of news to get to. A man at the Motor City Casino says he went from winning big to being robbed in just a matter of seconds on Sunday night. Police tell us arrests were made here, but the victim is sharing his story, saying others still need to be aware of just what happened. Sunday night at the Motor City Casino started out well for this customer who decided to quit while he was ahead and watch the Pistons game.
Picked up money that I
cashed out that
I cashed out my winnings, went back, sat at the bar looking at the game.
Even though it was after 10, he says there were plenty of people at the casino.
A random guy walk up, and we make a conversation about the game. So I get up, I walk off, he walk off. We still talking about the Pistons.
As these two walk out, it happens.
As I'm looking up, a car pulling up. A guy get out, and I don't know what alerted me to him, but a guy get out, light-skinned young guy, get out and walk around, and that's when I bagged up.
He says he was ambushed and jumped by a total of 4 guys, including the stranger, all attacking him.
I'm fighting, the lady screaming, hey, they robbing them, and I'm, defending myself.
He also claims all of this was happening in front of security.
He still stood right there for a second and had a chance to spit blood in my face. You see what I'm saying? And y'all ain't restraining him or nothing.
The victim told me he lost roughly $2,000, car keys and credit cards.
I'm in here gambling, playing my money, and then I can't even leave out peacefully.
I did reach out to Motor City Casino for comment. They tell me they can't say anything on an active investigation. Eventually, the victim says police did arrive.
As they was coming in, I was basically leaving up out of there.
The victim was taken to the hospital with injuries to his neck, head, and back.
I hit my head in the elevator. Blood everywhere.
Police tell us they did arrest 4 people and recovered 2 weapons, all in connection to this incident.
It happened on the overpass. The sound just carried, and we were getting calls from the west side of the city.
Also tonight, Ferndale police are searching for a gunman after a 27-year-old man from Detroit was found shot to death. This happened on the Woodward Avenue Bridge, that's over 8 Mile Road, around 2 Sunday morning. Police found the victim with multiple gunshot wounds lying in the road outside of his car. Anyone with information here is asked to please call the Ferndale police. A violent fight at the Macomb Correctional Facility sends 2 correction officers to the hospital. Incidents like this are unfortunately all too common. And as Fox 2's Dave Kinchin reports, some state lawmakers are calling for prison reform.
We've been here at the Macomb Correctional Facility before, talking about the same type of thing happening before, but this time it's prompting state lawmakers to call for reform. Melee in Macomb. Multiple corrections officers and a prisoner hospitalized after a fight broke out at the Macomb Correctional Facility Monday. State officials who oversee the prison say there was a prisoner-on-prisoner fight that prompted one of the inmates to be sent to the hospital to get sutures for an injury under his eye. During that scuffle, state officials say an officer was pinned between a cell door and another staff member and hurt their arm. That officer was hospitalized along with another who suffered exposure to some kind of chemical.
In my mind, it's a matter of time before we have an all-out riot.
State Rep Dave Preston has been one of several lawmakers in both parties calling for reform in the state prison system for a while now.
The culture that is within the correctional officers right now, I would say, is at an all-time low.
He says attacks like this one happen practically every day at prisons across Michigan and are the result of low morale, making it hard to recruit more corrections officers to boost staffing levels. He also says too much power is centralized in Lansing. Among the changes he's working to make,
bringing back the pensions for the corrections officers and try to get the corrections department back on a level playing field and put these guys in a position where they can succeed instead of every day being subject to being forced overtime, working multiple shifts, multiple days without end.
All of those hospitalized are said to be in stable condition. In northern Macomb County, Dave Kinchin on The Edge.
It has been 6 weeks since the tragedy in Troy. A 5-year-old boy was killed when he was in a hyperbaric chamber and exploded at the Oxford Center. Tonight, 4 people, including the Oxford Center CEO, Tammy Peterson, have all been arrested and charged in connection to the death. 5-year-old Thomas Cooper was receiving treatment inside a hyperbaric oxygen chamber for ADHD and sleep apnea, and there was an explosion. Young Thomas was trapped inside with the flames. Sources tell Fox 2 there was not enough enough employees on duty at the time of the explosion and that the machines were not properly maintained. Feiger Law is representing the Cooper family as they pursue a civil lawsuit against those responsible.
The fact that they're charging Ms. Peterson in this supports that she had some personal involvement in this. I mean, somebody doesn't get charged if they didn't take a specific action to bring something like this to happen. Any step towards justice, I have found, helps families that are grieving, but nothing's ever going to replace that beautiful boy.
Police arrested Peterson this morning at her Brighton home. She and 2 others face charges of second-degree murder and involuntary manslaughter. A 4th person was charged for involuntary manslaughter and entering false information on medical records. A money war with Canada heats up as Ontario is responding to President Donald Trump's tariffs. Ontario Premier Doug Ford announced he will charge 25% more for electricity provided to Michigan, Minnesota, and New York. The move impacts about 1.5 million American homes and businesses. While there are concerns that the grid could be more vulnerable to an outage, one expert we spoke with believes the tariffs will only have a small impact on Michigan.
As much as we have net use for Canada's electricity, going the other way around, they have a net use. We give them quite a bit of natural gas. So they start charging more for electricity. We're going to charge them more for natural gas.
Ontario's energy tariffs will remain despite President Trump pushing back Canadian tariffs by 1 month. Let us all give a good golf clap for the weather returning to the 60s. It's the first time it's been this warm since early November, and golfers, well, they're taking full advantage of this warm sunshine at Macomb Golf Course over there in Huntington Woods. If you look close, I think you could see you. Rich, were you out there?
A lot of smiles today. I was not out there,
right.
but I was picking up sticks in my backyard. You know, it's that time of year again. This dry stretch continues, Dave. Let me show you the numbers. There it is. Today's daytime high, 65 degrees. It's been 4 months since we've been this warm. The record today, 70, set back in 2021. It's going to be a dry stretch right into Friday. There is a weak cold front up here in the northern lakes. That's going to bring in somewhat cooler air for Tuesday night and Wednesday. Right now, it's all quiet here in Southfield. 47 degrees. That's 9 Mile Road. But check out the numbers, 65 and 32, way above where we should be. And that sunset getting later now that we've put those clocks ahead this past weekend. Right now, a little cooler in Ann Arbor, 39, 44 Mount Clemens, still 53 in Pontiac, 52 at Lansing. We did have a breeze around today. It's still from the south and southwest, but it is a lot less now than what we had earlier today. 62 Chicago right now, even way up there around Pellston near the bridge. 53 degrees, 51 to our south in Columbus. We are going to see a little surge of cooler air Tuesday night and Wednesday, and I'll show you why. It's our next cold frontal boundary. There it is, and there it goes. It does come through dry tomorrow, but there will be a wind change to the north and west. Wednesday is going to be the coolest day this week before we start to warm things back up heading into the weekend. For the rest of tonight, it's dry. Just a few fair weather clouds. We're down to 43. Check out the numbers for tomorrow. Back into the middle 50s. Not quite as warm as today. Still breezy at times with sun and clouds. And right there is the 7-day. Back to 56 Thursday, 65 on Friday. You know, we have a shot at 70 degrees Saturday with some showers, then cooler to start next week. Another check at 4 a.m.
Breaking news tonight out of Warren. There's been reports of an officer-involved shooting. You are looking live at the scene. This is the area of the Twin Pines Mobile Home Park. That's just off 11 Mile Road. Warren police confirming there was an officer-involved shooting, and it's under investigation. Stay with Fox 2 for any updates on that scene. Also tonight, MDOT is reminding drivers to please slow down and pay attention, especially in construction zones. This after a road crew's truck is hit on I-96. Fox 2's Tanisha Cordell has more on what happened.
It's risky work.
It is a constant danger. Unfortunately, we regularly have not only workers hit, but the people who die in a crash in a work zone.
And us drivers play a big role in keeping road crews safe. But it doesn't always work out that way. On Monday afternoon, 3 Wayne County road crew trucks were stopped on I-96 near the Southfield Freeway doing work underneath the M39 bridge. Another 4 were directing traffic, acting as a barricade in case the worst happened. And it did.
These things are huge, and they have flashing lights on them. And still, to not be seen is maddening.
Despite one of the truck trailers having an arrow signaling drivers to move over, MSP says a driver, an 82-year-old man in a Lincoln, did not see it and rear-ended the truck. That driver and the driver in the truck both had minor injuries.
Those folks who were up in a bucket trying to work on the bridge were saved by these large trucks behind them. We need people to do what they are supposed to do when behind the wheel.
The warning ahead of a busy construction season. And although officials know this will not be the last time road crews are put in danger, they're hoping for a slowdown.
You're protected by your vehicle, your airbag, your seatbelt, all the glass and steel around you, whereas our folks are on the side of the road with minimal protection.
MDOT will be back out tomorrow finishing up this job, scaling the M39 bridge from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. That means a portion of I-96 will be back down to one lane. So if you're out on the roads, be patient, stay alert, and move over. It is the law. Violating that law carries a $400 fine and 2 points on your license. I'm Tanisha Cordell reporting on The Edge.